Hello and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, I actually want to walk through and build a primitive chat GPT bot that we can interact with. But practically speaking, this is something that you see actually a lot in a lot of products that are out there now. It's kind of a big boom in building in, chat GPT bots into your product. And so, I thought it'd be kind of a fun exercise to walk through a basic one together. If you haven't heard about ChatGPT or the company that created it, OpenAI, I definitely recommend you go to openai.com and check out what they're doing. Check out ChatGPT for everyone, for teams, for enterprises, the news. Get caught up on this because this is going to be a big deal. ChatGPT and all this AI stuff is being built into almost, all the tools that we're seeing now on the web, oftentimes into your mobile apps. You're going to see these AI stuff built into everything now and in the future and in the long future. I mean, it's here to stay. So the more familiar that we can get with it, I think the better. And so when I guess when you use ChatGPT, if you've messed with it at all, like if I click on this for everyone here, oftentimes it's driven by prompting with a question. It's a conversational type of thing that you can do, and it can try to intelligently speak back based off the data that it has learned from. And so definitely we're not going to spend the time now to get familiar with ChatGPT. I'm going to assume you do that on your own first. But when you do that, come back and then we can kind of walk through building one of our own together. But you can see here is an example off their website. Can you edit my email to be more friendly but still professional? Certainly. And ChatGPT can offer suggestions on how to do that. And you can provide all sorts of questions and prompts and information. It'll do its best based off what it knows to give you kind of a helpful, detailed response. People use it to summarize meetings, generate code. A lot of people are using that to generate code, which is fine if you understand the code. But if you have no idea what the code's doing, then I probably wouldn't recommend that. I recommend learning what it does on your own first, and then coming back to ChatGPT to, help automate some things for you. So like I said, all sorts of cool things you can do with ChatGPT. Definitely, I'm sure most of you have interacted with it, but if you have not, like I said, go and do some research and get yourself reading about it and using it to kind of get some of your own practice. All right. So with that said, there's a ChatGPT for everyone. So what do I mean by everyone? Well, that could be business folks, librarians, teachers, that. So what I'm basically saying is ChatGPT for everyone is as a non-developer, you can use ChatGPT to interact with and get information from. But if you're a developer and you want to incorporate ChatGPT in a more customized fashion, OpenAI gives us developers an API to access, and we can call their API and interact with their GPT over API calls. And so that is really cool and exciting for developers because it opens the doors for us to build AI into our mobile apps, our web apps, and all things like that. So very exciting. Definitely something that you'll want to get familiar with. And so again, this lecture is just kind of scratching the surface and getting you at least, introduced to the concept of setting up and doing what we need to do to interact with ChatGPT over an API. So if I even like scroll down, there's a section, for research, for business, for developers, right? And there's quick start, there's guides, there's playgrounds, all this stuff, API. So we're gonna want this is our section, right? This is for developers, and so this is the area we want to hang out in. So if I click over, let's say I click on the API, and I start building. Well, what I'll need to do first is I'll need to do a sign up and a login, because you're going to have to get access to an API key and all that kind of stuff. So when you do a sign up, you can sign up using any of these tools. Google, Microsoft, or Apple is an easy way to do it, or just do it through email. You can set up an account that way. But once you're in, here, let me switch over to my logged in account. Is over here. My logged in account looks like this. And so you'll have to, like I said, learn. You can start interacting with the system here, like hello, do you know PHP, right? I can start interacting with this right now. Hello, how can I assist you with it? And so you can start interacting with ChatGPT right here, just to get familiar with it. And so there's all sorts of things you can play with, but where we want to go in building ChatGPT into our Laravel applications, we want to get an API key first, because we can't interact with OpenAI and all that unless they know who you are to some degree. So on the left side, there's this API key section you're going to want to go to. And then you're going to want to create a new secret key, which I already have one down here. And you can name it whatever you want. And so I have this key that I'll be using in my lectures. But because that key will be public in my lecture, I'll probably come and delete this existing one soon thereafter. So anyway, you can create your new secret key up here and give it a name, and then create secret key. And then it's going to allow you to copy it, and then you can use that in our API. So maybe I'll create another one for lecture. Default, all permissions, create secret key. And then when it does that, so notice this part pops up. Now this is really, really important, because right here it says you won't be able to view it again. So what you need to do is copy this, paste it somewhere where you can get access to it, because like I said, you're not going to have access to it again. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click done. And so now I have two keys, right? So you can have keys for different applications and so forth. So it's kind of there for you to manage. So I think that's where you need to start. So I have my secret key for SEC copied off somewhere, because that's the one I'm using in my lecture. All right. So for now, that's going to get us going. And so I'm going to jump over to my Laravel application, which is just my friend's application, right? PHP. Actually, I don't even need to start it right now, but oops, okay. I'm not sure what's going on there, but let's clear that. And what we need to do first is we're also going to use a tool called LIvewire, which again, Laravel LIvewire it's a way for us to write real-time kind of interactive apps, very similar to like React. And so I'm going to incorporate that into this application as well. And so I'm just involved in my actually PHP artisan serve. I'm just using Laravel, and then what am I doing here? Friends. Yeah, this is just the Friends app. So I could generate a new Laravel application, but I'll just go ahead and just keep adding on to this app. So I guess kind of just bear with me on that one. So the first thing I want to do is open up a new prompt. We need to install LiveWire into this because LiveWire does not come with Laravel by default. So we need to install it. And so that's really easy. So we just run composer require LiveWire / LiveWire. So you're going to do that from the root of your Laravel application. Okay. So again, if you are working inside your repository with a bunch of Laravel applications, don't do it from the root of your repository. You need to cd into the root of your Laravel application and then run this composer require command. And that'll install LiveWire into that specific Laravel application. So that's what I'm doing here. So I'm going to install that. And that shouldn't take very long. So that's cool. And once it's installed, then we can run a generate command. And what this will do is generate the appropriate files needed to run a Laravel component. So then we can create many Laravel components and then embed those components anywhere on any Blade template that we want to do. And so we're going to do that right now. So I'm going to run another command now, php artisan make LiveWire chat. And so this part here, oops, let's see, php artisan make LiveWire, that is a command given to us from the LiveWire library that we just installed. Okay, so we can't run this command until we've installed LiveWire first. And then I can create any component name here, right? Foo bar, chat, whatever kind of, I could create a search component. I could create a product listing component. So whatever component name you're going to be creating that would go right here. So in this case, we're going to create this, LiveWire bot chat thing. So I'll just call it chat just for now. And so I'll go ahead and generate that. And so that's a pretty quick command. So first I want to make an observation with you. So what it did is it created two files, a class file and a Blade file. Okay, those two files here are the ones that we'll be using. The class is where we'll write our PHP code to kind of be the go-between between our Blade template and our ChatGPT API call. So that'll be kind of the traffic cop in the middle. The chat Blade file, that's the one that'll just be the user interface. So that's where all of our HTML and form elements will go in there. And so yeah, we'll go ahead and open up those two files just so we can see what's going on with those. And so let's see, those should be over here now. And so I can scroll down to LiveWire, wherever you are. Oh, there it is, LiveWire. So LiveWire, there's the chat. This is the class, so it generates an empty class for you. And then down under resources, views, there should be a LiveWire directory. Yep. And so that's where the chat .blade.php file goes. And so these work nicely together because they're directly connected to each other. So you notice right here in the render, there's a render function that renders livewire.chat. And livewire.chat, if you can see the directory structure, livewire chat is referencing that Blade. So they're connected with each other already. And so what I want to do next is, this is just the component. And so what I need to do, there's a couple more things I need to do. I need to set up LiveWire style sheets, LiveWire JavaScript, and some sort of Blade file to house this component. So there's a couple more things I want to do here to make this work. And so I'm going to come back over here to the views. and just create another view. Call it chatbot.php. Okay. And this will be a really simple, I basically need to, what I need to do a couple things here. I need to extend some sort of layout. I don't know which one I'm going to use yet. Let me just leave it for app for now. I don't know if I want to use that one or not. Actually, I'm going to turn this off. I want to turn off completions for now. And then I just want to have content and section. And then here's where I want to embed the LiveWire component. So that's really easy. So all you do is LiveWire and then the component that you created. Okay, super easy, so, right? I could have, I could have multiple components anywhere on a page, right? So that's where the component architecture gets really powerful. So again, if you've used anything like React, you can create these customized, specific, reusable components and then put those wherever you want on a page. So super powerful. We only need one chat on this page though. Section, in section. And then the last thing I need to do to get that to work is get that in our web PHP to reference that page. So I'm going to create a route called chatbot, and that's going to reference chatbot, our chatbot view. So this chatbot route will reference our chatbot view right here, which embeds our LiveWire chat component. Now the layout, I need to figure this one out real quick. I don't know if I want to use app. Could I use our friends layout? I might just use the friends layout. So maybe I'll do that. So let me go back here and use our friends layout, which means I need to do a couple things in here. I need to LiveWire styles. So what that does is, since we installed the LiveWire library into Laravel, it gives us this little shortcut notation to put the proper CSS into this page. So I can show you what that generates here in a second. And then we also need to incorporate some LiveWire scripts. So really handy, super easy to get LiveWire going in a Laravel app, right? So with that in place, let me just put something in here, like hello from this chat component. So I think I'm just going to do that. Let's go see if this works now in the browser. So I have chat bot, hit enter. Oh, let's see what's going on here. I'm sure I forgot something simple here. Chat. Oh, yeah. Chatbot.php is not going to work as a blade template, right? It needs to have the word blade in it. There we go. Now it's a blade template. Let's see if this works again now. Okay, layout, friends not found. Okay. Let's go see what's up with that. Layouts. Oh, layout. So this is me having a typo. Layouts, friends, because that's the name of the directory here is layouts, not layout. So, yep. All right, let me hit refresh. Hello from chat component. Yes. Okay. So that's a good start. So now we've kind of basically wired everything together. Everything sees each other. Okay. So my route goes to this blade template. This blade template loads the LiveWire component and uses the layout, which is good, which loads our styles and scripts. And then our component has this, and our component is wired up to this behind the scenes class. So I think that's good. One thing I did want to show you, if I view source on this page and look at everything on here, notice LiveWire styles sets up all of these styles that are used to necessary for the LiveWire component stuff to work. And then if I scroll to the very bottom, there's this script tag which loads the LiveWire JS, which is necessary for us to do the interactive pieces of LiveWire. So that's all built in for us just by incorporating the LiveWire styles and LiveWire scripts. So again, we don't have to worry about it. We just say plug them in. Thank you very much. All right, so now it's time to start wiring things up and getting things working the way they should. A couple things here. The first thing I want to do is I want to incorporate some, we want to have, a little bit of chat thing. So we need to put in a text box, submit, and we'll kind of record our message and the bot's message and kind of keep a running chat of this thing going. And so what we're going to want to do is, get some messaging going, chat with, let's create like a Laravel chat app or a chat bot. Chat with our Laravel bot. And then we are going to go ahead and incorporate a couple input fields. And in LiveWire, we get to actually wire things up to the back end with a model. We're going to have a message model. And also, if they hit enter on this text box, we can allow them to submit this form. So key down, enter. We're going to allow them to call a function on the back end called send message. So that I'll show you what that looks like in a second. But we're also going to have a button. And when we click on this button, we are also going to we're going to call this send message as well. Send. Okay, so I'll go back here, hit refresh. Okay, chat with our Laravel bot. We have this, and it's not doing anything yet, right? So if I hit enter, I should get some sort of error message saying send message method is not found on your component. Okay, if I hit send, again, send message method is not found on our component. So let's go deal with that. Okay, so over here, we want to create a send message. And so a couple things we need to do first. We need to remember this part where it says we have a model message. Well, anything that we've wired to a model is just an instance property on this class. So we're just going to create a public message, and we'll just kind of initialize that as empty for now, which is cool, right? So this does the object-oriented skills that we've been kind of learning over the quarters, we get to like apply into a real application. So that's really, really cool. The next thing we want to do is create our function. Function send message. And so what can I do from here to test things out? Well, I could kind of start showing this chat history thing. So what I'm going to do is kind of create another instance property, chat history, and we'll make it an empty array. And then I will kind of put a little message on here. This chat history, we can append to that. And just kind of do a, we'll kind of simulate what we're going to be doing here. User, and then this message, and then let's see. Yeah, I think that's good for now. And then I'll show you how to use that here in a second. Let's see if that actually works. Because over here we actually need to iterate over the message here. So let's set up another div, and this is going to be our chat box here section, and we are going to, for each, we get, like I said, we get access directly to our instance variables over here, which is cool. That's chat, and for each, and then what I want to do is just display strong. So this is you, and then I want to display chat user. And so that's really the message that you said, but it's the message that you're saying as a user. So we'll also incorporate the chatbot's response here later when we get this. So let's see if this actually works, if I typed everything correctly. So hello, oops. Yep. Goodbye. Okay, so that seems to be working. I'm not clearing this out yet, am I? So let's go back here and see if I get that to work. Because once we append it, then we can clear out the message. Refresh that. So hello, nice, goodbye. So that cleared out the text box there. So you can see how wiring, notice we wired this text box to this message. So anything that I do to this message on the class component, it updates the text box here reactively. So things, the page is being reactively updated without a page refresh. So it's kind of acting like a single page application, kind of like a React application. Okay, sweet. So it looks like, again, we're wiring things up, getting things looking at each other. So that's looking good. The next thing I need to do now that I have my messages I type incorporated in there, we need to incorporate the API, OpenAPI ChatGPT thing now. So we got to kind of get down to business here. So I want to start incorporating that down here, because what I want to do next is I want to let's see this. I want to get the response, API response. I want it to look something like this. So this, I want to create a method called getAI response, and I want to pass it this message. And I want to call, what I want to do is call OpenAI's ChatGPT API, get a response, and I want to tack that into the chat history. So then that would look something like this, bot response, like that. Okay, so that's what I want to do. Now this now is really not going to work, but I need to go write the actual code to make that work. So in order to make this API call work, I am going to need to incorporate the API key. And so what you're going to have to do is here, I have my key copied on a different screen here. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to need to go to your .env file right here, which if you've looked in there before, has some kind of basic information about the way your Laravel application is configured. For example, we're using SQLite, and then some other things that we don't really use right now. But what we need to do is set up a key, OpenAI key for ourselves. And I am going to copy that over from over here because that's what I recommended that you do when you go create yours, because after that you won't be able to retrieve it unless you create a new one. So I'm going to come over here, paste it in. And so like I said before, this is my API key. I'm going to go probably delete it right after this lecture. But it's easy for you to go create your own. So it's all good. I'm going to save that. And so make sure you just paste that into your .env. And so that we can access it by a key here, this OpenAI key. So I'm going to go back over here now, and I can leverage that and access that information. So let's go ahead and write this get AI response method now and walk through that. So this is going to be a private function, get AI response, and we're going to pass in a message like that. And let's see. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to, in order to make API calls within Laravel, we're going to use a built-in library called Guzzle. And so we need to bring that in. So use, again, built into Laravel, you just got to bring it in. So it goes Guzzle HTTP client. And so once we have that in here, then we can just leverage that. So so now we can go ahead and incorporate that in. So we can do we can set up our client and new client, and then now we can actually make the API call. So this is great. Response equals client post. And so now I want to get into some API specific details. So I'm going to jump back over to the API over here. So when I'm over here and I'm making API calls, I thought there was a place that showed you what this would look like. Yeah, view code. Let me see if that helps me. Oh yeah, perfect. So just so you didn't miss that, if you missed it, over here there's a section called view code, and I used it. It helped me quite a bit actually to get started on how to I make my API call from Laravel. But I clicked over here, clicked on this. Unfortunately, they have a Python, Node, and curl and JSON, which wasn't the most helpful, I guess. But the only parts that I needed anyway was this URL here, this content type, this authorization part, the model, and they don't have the prompt in here, but it's actually required. So I knew enough just to get going from that. So I'll show you exactly what you need to type in, but this, even though it's not exactly what I'm using, I only needed a few things from here to make it work. So, but just for future reference, there's API code examples to do some other things. If you get into these other things on the left, you can always have code examples over there. So that's really handy. So let's go back here. And actually I could code, copy this over here. And that's what I paste inside of here. And then there's just some parameters we want to pass. A couple sets of parameters actually we want to pass into here. JSON. And that, like I said, this is kind of why I create the this section for you, and just to make sure I'm doing it right here. That should hopefully complete everything I need there. So actually, this part is I am missing a part here. I want to do this correctly. Headers. So now I think this part is correct. So those, and then this part is matched up in there. Okay, perfect. Okay, still getting a red squiggly over here. Make sure I'm doing everything right here. So posting, extra parenthesis right here. I make the mistake so you don't have to. Okay, perfect. So now this opening paren matches with this closing paren. This opening square bracket matches with this one, and then I got two subsections in here. Okay, very good. So now in here we can set up our authorization. And really key point here, there's a space right after that bearer, right? If I go back over to here, we're simulating this section here, authorization colon space bearer space, and then our OpenAI key. So these spaces are kind of important in there. All right, so bearer, and then I'm going to tack on our env, and our key here, remember, is this one here. So that's a way for us to store those keys in that file, and it'll put that API key right here. So that's going to be super handy there. And then our content type is just application JSON. And that's also in right here, content type, application JSON. And then our JSON, which is basically our payload that we want to send over. We have a model, which for our purposes, we're going to use the kind of the free tier of this. So this will allow us to get in here quickly without, because if you use their upper end learning models, they cost money. So this is just kind of the free version. If you want to invest in it at some point down the road, you can do that and use a more advanced learning model. But for now, we're just going to use the free version. And so this is the recommended one for that. And then prompt is the message we're sending over to them. So that's just the message. And then finally, we want to control the token amount, which this is pretty standard, 150, and that should send that API response to them. Okay, now we should get that into a response, and what we want to do here now is get some data. We need to JSON decode this into something usable in PHP, right? It's going to come back as JSON. We want to decode that from JSON into PHP. So we're going to take the response, get body, and just for now, why don't we, let's see, is there something I can do here? I wonder if I could just do a DD dump and die of the data right here, just to see what we're getting back. So let's see if we can get away with this. Experimenting is good. All right. So this should happen. Remember, what did I do here? Assigning void. Get API response. Yeah, I'm not sure what it's like, not liking there, but let's see if this still runs as normal. So when I click the button, this send message gets called. We're going to make our API call, and then we're going to make the call and do a dump and die of the data of the response from the API call. So hopefully, let's just see what happens. And we'll head over here, refresh, and can you help me with Laravel? Laravel. Send. Missing parameter, required parameter messages. All right, let's go see what that's all about. Messages. Okay, well, let's check it out. So message. Just want to make sure everything I have in here is correct. Even with that error message, it looked like it got down this far, so that's good. Client post API OpenAI.com v1 chat. Ooh, that is something a little different than what I had in another thing I was using, because we're not using. I think we're just using the completions API, not the chat API. So that is actually different. The chat is looking for you to maintain the state of what you said and what they said in an array and sending that back and forth. So we're not using that endpoint. We're actually just using this completions endpoint, which is more open-ended and lets you just send things in an open-ended fashion. So my bad on that one. I missed that. Okay. So let's go ahead and try it again. Let's go back, refresh. Hello, can you help me with, I'll start with PHP. Hopefully it's an easy one. Send. Cool. So the dump and die worked. And now we can analyze the information we're getting. So we have our choices, an array. Here's the response. Yes, of course. Please let me know what specific aspect of PHP you need me to help you with, and I'll do my best to assist you. So that's the data we want. That's the response we want to pull out. And then we want to display that on the page as the Laravel bot. Okay, sweet. So exciting. That worked. All right, let's go back here. And now that we know the information is good, let's extract it out and return the data, choices, the first element, and then the text. Right? Let's see. Choices, 0, text, and that'll get us into the response. Okay, nice. Okay, so we want to return that, and then when that gets returned up here, response, yeah, that's going to go into the bot response, and we need to make sure we display this in our user interface. So let's jump back over to the user interface and add that to here. So we'll do Laravel bot, and we're going to grab the bot key out of that, right? Because we put it into the bot key, yep. And user is just what we're typing. And yeah, let's see how that goes. Let me refresh the page. Okay, so hello. can you tell me about PHP? All right, cool. Laravel bot. So we get a little information about PHP. This is so cool. Um, is PHP better than JavaScript? And we'll see how opinionated it is. It is not possible to say definitively whether PHP is better than JavaScript. So, oh man, this is awesome. So what else can we do? Um, so, do you know about the Laravel web framework? Yes, it's an open source web framework building MVC architecture pattern. Cool. This is awesome. This looks like our web framework is working. I'm really excited about it. I wonder if I can challenge it. You know, what is the name of the, I'm looking for the answer to be eloquent model, right? What is the name of the database ORM that Laravel uses? I want to see if it knows that. There it is. The name of the database ORM Laravel uses is Eloquent. Awesome. So we've basically just incorporated, a Laravel bot that we can ask PHP Laravel type questions using the OpenAI ChatGPT API. So this is cool. Like I said, a lot of companies are already doing this. They're incorporating intelligent services into their websites that people can interact with to maybe learn how to, maybe for like FAQ, frequently asked questions, service, learning about their products, all sorts of things like that. They're building these intelligent bots into their websites to do these types of things. And like I said before, we're just scratching the surface. I mean, there's lots of cool things that you can do with the OpenAI APIs. There's image detection, there's audio detection, there's image generation, there's text generation. There's really a lot of things. And the more research and investing in the time of what you can do with generative API, it's really, we're in the Wild West right now, where there's lots of neat creative ideas that you can do. So hopefully this inspires you to further and investigate this and do some of your own things. So, all right, well, I'm going to leave it at that, and hopefully you enjoyed that as much as I did. That was fun for me. But hey, until next time, have a good one. See ya. Bye.